Hi, I'm Juvel Calvalhatian and this is my video presentation for the subject of Computer Programming 1 and my topic is Group 1. So first, what is Computer Programming 1? So computer programming is the process of designing and building an executive computer program to accomplish a scientific computing result or to perform a scientific task. And here in the computer programming, we have 10 most popular using we have. So like we have a JavaScript, Java, Python, Ruby, PHP, C++, and C#, Go, Shell, what's Objective-C. But we need to focus our language that we use in this subject. C++ is a general purpose high level lightweight computing programming language mainly used for application development. It was designed by Butch Straub in 1979. So what is a flow chart? Because our problem we need to solve by the flow chart. So flowchart are used in analyzing, designing, documenting, and managing a process or program in various fields. Flowcharts represent an algorithm or process showing the step of boxes of various kinds, and by connecting them with arrows. So we have a symbol used in flowcharts. So the most common flowchart symbol are terminator, process, decision, connector, data, preparation, and other is on-page connectors, off-page connectors. So this is the terminator, elongated circle which signify the start or end of a process. So that's the shapes of the terminator. The next is process, a rectangular flowchart shapes indicating normal process flow steps. So next is decision, diamond flow chart shapes indicating a branch in the process flow decision that must be made. Data is like a parallelogram that indicates data input or output for a process. Preparation, a symbol used is prepare data or analyzing something. On-page connectors, a symbol used to connect two or more symbols belonging to the same page together to form a continuous process. Then off-page connectors, a symbol used to connect two or more symbols belong to the different pages together to perform a continuous process. So next is handling primitive data types. So they have different variables. So they have 3 variables, but all topics here in handling primitive data types is about differentiate variables from data types, the classification of variables, the classification of data types, the different data types available in C++, argue, and practical data type to use. So first, there have 3 variables. That's what I'm saying before. Explicit variables, implicit variables, anonymous variables. So implicit variables are variables that we declare usually at the start of application before any process is done. Within there are made in such a way that developers know they will be using a variable within the context of application. Most programming languages that have explicit variables, they have required that variables to be declared before they are used. So it means the explicit variable means done by the programmer, so which is created by the programmer. Same, it's like a you or me or anybody as per their requirement, like your apps class method, like get name, set name. Then explicit when use of programming intervention is required to invoke call scientific functionality, without which is details desired action won't take place. Then means that you state something without leaving out any details, and can be necessary to prevent ambiguity. Then for example, C++, freeing of the memory has to happen by explicitly calling delete and free operators. Then next, our variable is implicit variables. So are variables that are used right away without the need of declaring them. They are referenced using a name. They are made in such a way that they are only located some memory when called. They are usually usable within the context where they are initially used. Most programming languages used is web development have implicit variables. So that is means done by the tool. Implicit is which is already variable into your programming language, like methods, classes, data types. So could resolve difficulties of a programmer and save time of the development. And the implicit means like some details are not stated by the can be determined without being stated because enough information is available. So next variables is anonymous variables. So anonymous variables are variables that are used right away without the need of declaring them. They however are not referenced using a name. Only the computer itself know how to call them. They are typically declared and destroyed after use. Anonymous variables are used during computation. So anonymous variable is for example in C++. In C++ programming, an object are created with names, but it is still possible to create object without names. Such object are known as anonymous object. So that's the variable. A temporary storage of value. Then what about ifs? So code blocks. Now that we are introducing different variations of our application depending on selected scenario, we need to discuss about code blocks. Code blocks are the series of programming statements that are grouped together. They are located within the curly brackets, braces opened by close parentheses and closed by open parentheses and closed by parentheses. So variables. So what is the variables? Since we are talking about code blocks, we need to discuss various things about variables and how they are affected by code blocks. We have global variables and local variables. So global variables are variables declared outside of the int main, close parentheses, function. Then they are usable anywhere in the same line of the declaration. And within the code, blocks like the int main, close parentheses, function code block. Then the local variable are a local variable declared within a specific code block and assessed and used only within the said code block. So this is the introduction of conditional. If they have two conditional introduction. So first, if statements. If statement are used when we have a undefined condition, expression, and it be a single expression or multiple expression. So the second, the conditional is switch statements. So switch statements is like another of the conditional are the switch statement. Switch statement is a conditional that compares one specific variable so against a set of defined constant or values. Then let's nesting of conditionals. That it is impossible to create a nested conditional depending on the need. You can create an if without an if statement. You can create a switch without a switch statement. So you can also create a hybrid of if without a switch, or switch within a if. This combination mainly depend on your need as a developer. So that's and all. Thank you, and I hope you like it my video. Thank you.